my expectation in Germany was I'll feel out of place and I'll find it really difficult. So within the 18 months, I was already earning quite well to pay off what I had taken from my parents. I work here as a software engineer. The netto is usually around expenses for the kid in terms of kindergarten. We have invested in properties here in Germany. We happened to take the German citizenship. That my husband was diagnosed with cancer, and the care and support that we got in Germany. Yeah, we have our own company called Never Stop or Ever. I've been living in Germany for the last 11 years now, and I work here as a software engineer in a company called SAP, which is one of the big IT companies here in Deutschland. And yeah, I studied here. I did my master's here, and I met my husband here as well. He's also Indian, and he also works for the same company. And yeah, we have a 3-year-old son born here, and yeah, we have our own company called Never Stop or Ever. So we bring medical professionals and nurses also from India and across the globe to Germany. It's more of an NGO where we are trying to do something good to the country that we are from. But we started this, I think, 2 years ago, and it's going well.
Why chose Germany?
I chose Germany because I wanted, first of all, wanted to do my master's somewhere in a country like Australia, America, or Germany, is some of the top countries in the world. And cost-wise, this was perfect for me. And the course that I found was in English. And financially, it was good. I did not want to trouble my parents because I didn't have much savings back then, and I wanted to do something in computer science but had a little bit of management. So the course that I did here was called Business Computer Science, and hence that was my choice.
Tell me a little bit about the beginning of life here in Germany.
Yeah, back when I came back in 2013, life was very different. Not many Indians as we have now, or not many foreigners back then. But the university that I went to had a lot of Indians, international people, and I did not find it that difficult to, make friends, or did not my expectation in Germany was I'll feel out of place and I'll find it really difficult. So I came with the intention that I would try to do masters. It's okay if I find a job or I do not find a job as well. That was the intention of my parents as well when sending me here, because in terms of investment it was more of my living expenses and a little bit of fees, and it wasn't as much as the other countries. So they also sent me here with the idea that okay, try it. If you don't fit in or if you don't find a job, just come back. So the intention was no, I didn't take any sort of loan or something that pressurized me or my parents. So it was more of an exploration, and things worked out for me. And somehow within the 18 months, or 1 or 2 months before that itself, I was already earning quite well to pay off what I had taken from my parents, and was quite confident with my German skills to find a job. Yeah. So it worked out for me. Yeah.
Which level of German you had?
Then I had, I think, B1 towards the end of my master's when I found my job. Now I have B2.
Tell me how you got the job.
I was doing my internship in Munich, and did my thesis as well in Berlin. I just applied to a lot of startups in Berlin back then, and it didn't take too long. So I knew that you need to send a couple of applications, do not lose hope, kind of thing. Do as much as possible, and then yeah, leave the rest. So that's all you can do. I mean, work on your skills, or be focused on what you want, and then everything will fit in. So for me, it kind of worked out with the job in Berlin. But then later My husband found a job in SAP in the south, so I was looking for a job in Heidelberg, which initially I did not get. I moved close by to him, and then after our wedding, after a few months, I happened to also get a job in the same company as him. So I would say hard work, more dedication, but then stick to the skills that you're interested in. So, right now, I'm working for the same company and same team for the last 8 years now, and I'm really happy. So, it's more of happiness with what I wanted to do in the end, and sticking to that really helped. Not changing my CV to fit in something somewhere that wouldn't work, I think.
How you found the work environment in Germany?
Initial days, I found it a little hard. In Berlin, it was quite good because it was international, and I think with bigger cities, it is that way. But with smaller cities, it takes time to fit in. But I think with the Germans, in my opinion, once you get to know them really well, then it's not difficult at all. They make you family sometimes. I mean, the longer you stay and the better you get to know them, I think you fit in really well.
Is it easy to make German friends?
Initially, not. So they do not open up so easily. In my opinion, it takes a while, but once they get to know you, in terms of your genuinity or what you do and things like that, they become really good friends, and they do open up quite a bit. And I'm quite surprised at how things have changed over the years. The person who just used to be around me and say hi and walk away in office as colleagues for the first few years is now one of my closest friends who I can talk about anything with.
Can you give us some tips how to make the connection easier?
I think don't put in too much of effort in trying to say blocking their time, trying to get over coffee and things like that. What I would say is when you are at work, stick to work, and post work if you have some extra time. I'm just talking on a work perspective first. So if you have some extra time, how about a coffee and try to get to know them and see if you have common interests and pay attention to what you're saying. Do not always make it about yourself. I think that is one thing that I have learned. I give time for the others to talk and let them be free, not ask too many personal questions, at least not in the beginning until you know them really well. um, yeah, talk about hobbies really helps. I think I was a lot interested in dance and other things, and I would mention these things to other people, and then they used to come out and say, okay, I like dancing too, I do this, where do you go? And that kind of broke the initial barriers in terms of friendship. And yeah, I think that would be my tip.
What about the financial aspect of living in Germany? You have a family. How it is to live with a family here?
As a student, it is only about yourself. But when it comes to a family, there are a lot of things that you need to consider. For example, with a kid, right? If you also need to work, you need to send the kid to the kindergarten or take extra care about a lot of things. And not all states cover, say, the kindergarten fees or the money that comes with it. So in the south or the city that I live, a huge chunk, maybe 600 plus euros, goes into um, to the caretaking facilities, and they spend quite a bit of the time there. But apart from that, there are other expenses that comes with a kid, that it doesn't end at the kindergarten. They might want to go to some special, say, indoor play area on the weekends, or there are special things that come with it. And that needs to be taken care. But in terms of Germany and Europe, there are a lot of things that happen for free, right? And it's good quality. Like going to a playground, and every little city or town has the small areas where kids can play for free. You can meet other parents. There are parent groups where you can just meet the mother and kid for coffee together, and which come with little or no expenses. So it's definitely doable. It's not like it's very expensive. It depends on each family on what they want to do. So if the focus is going back to work, you need to find somebody to take care, and you need to find affordable means to do that. But in terms of entertainment, clothing, other things, there are a lot of other options where you need not pay too much, because there are a lot of say Facebook Marketplace, a lot of good quality baby related articles or clothes that people sometimes even give for free, or at a very affordable price, which I think is really good. Whether you can, because kids outgrow things very quickly in months, and yeah, getting some of that is definitely doable, and it's worth it.
Can you give me a range of how much it will take financially to have a good life as a family here?
I would say average of 2,500 these days, because for a family of three in cities that I live, the rent is approximately 1,000 for a 1 or 1.5 bedroom. So for the kid, or if you have some guests, or even if it is a single bedroom, it's very rare that you find things which are under 1,000. So most of the thing gets into the accommodation or electricity, the water, everything that comes around it as the extra Nebenkosten. So 1,500 there. The expenses for the kid in terms of kindergarten, say 600, 700. Food and other things 400 to 600. So I would say just and if you're not spending too much on travel or other things, this would probably be the average for a family. Yeah.
Do both parents have to work or one is enough?
Not necessarily. It depends on, say, how old the kid is. For example, if you want to put your attention into the kid, there are other things that you can let go, right? Like travel can be postponed, or investment into other things, like houses or whatever you think can be moved later. So, single person income is doable, but in our case, both of us are earning and we see the benefits of it, right? So there are situations where you need extra money for a lot of things and unforeseen things that come up, and with two people earning, it's definitely, I think, a better quality of life. And you don't have that constant fear of what if something happens with one person's job or health or anything that could come up. It helps, and even the kid being in a kripa or kindergarten kind of gives the mother some sort of free time, or a freedom if she has colleagues or other people to talk to, and it's not always focused at staying at home and being with the kid. But I think either ways it is doable. It's not that two people have to work.
What's the range of your salary or of the salary in your field?
Take home, the netto is usually around 4,500 to 5,000 based on the years of experience.
So you can save something from if both parents work.
Definitely.
Have you planned to invest in something like stocks or real estate?
We do that. Stocks with the company, it happens by default, and we have chosen that kind of plan. We have invested in properties here in Germany. So, in my case, we have an apartment around here that we have given out for rent, and we also have our own semi-detached house, or a Doppelhaushälfte, where we currently live in. So this was most of our savings goes and is invested in this.
Is it easy to rent a home in Germany?
It depends on the area. So, a new construction is always something that people prefer and has less troubles. So, that was something that we always looked at in terms of buying. We also lived in the same apartment for a few years and we were very happy and comfortable with it. But as our family grew, I think we wanted something with a garden. That's why we also moved. And I cannot say that your rent money equals the amount that you invest into it in terms of loan. It's not always the case. As a owner, you might have to invest something more on top of it because you can't just take any amount of rent from your tenants, right? There is a cap to it, and also depends on your house and everything around that. But I would say on a long term, an investment is in a house or a property, it definitely fetches you something, and it's something that you can rely upon in terms of someone not working for some time after a certain point, not in the initial years at least, because there's other things, expenses that comes with the rented house as well. But after a few years, I think it gives you more of a security that okay, you have a backup.
Do you think you'll keep renting the place if you will go back to India?
Yes, maybe. So in our case, we happen to take the German citizenship here in Germany only for this reason that if we want to rent out the place and keep that as an income for ourselves, we should be able to go to India and come back here in case of a situation that it's needed, whether there is some maintenance into the house. Into the rented property that we need to be there. Of course, our friends around here can do something, but there are some things that only owners can do in terms of agreements, signatures, and so on. And it is better that we can do something like this in terms of say permanent residence or a German citizenship or these kind of things. You can definitely come back, but nowadays the clauses with the banks are also in such a way that you can close the agreement in terms of loan and sell the property and also easily and go back. So back then when we took the initial property as an apartment, and we got a very low interest rate, it was not possible that we sell it at the time we want and go back to India. So this is what we thought that if it's something long term, then we need to definitely think about a situation where we have to go back and might have to sell the property, or if we want to rent, we need to come back.
Do you think it's better for you as a family to remain here in Germany?
I'm just being honest here, and we have a special situation kind of thing that happened with us. I have been quite open about it on my social media that my husband was diagnosed with cancer and has a long term sickness, and he's recovered now and he's doing well. But there are things that come with it in terms of insurances that we cannot go back to any India or any other country and get an insurance for him. And we have had very good medical care for him here in Germany. He had a stem cell transplant, and for leukemia, there was very few chances of recovery and so on. But he recovered completely, and the care and support that we got in Germany was so good health wise that we would not opt to leave go out of this country for this reason. But of course, my parents and his parents are there back in India, and we would like to go back to India to support them as and when needed, maybe for a couple of years. But when it comes to my husband's health, we would have to come back to Germany in case of need. So, a permanent move is not something on the cards for us.
Can you tell me about the assurance here in Germany? Do you have a private one or a public one?
We have a public one. We have the usual TK insurance. At some point, we were about to switch to the private, but we were advised by the doctors in his particular situation that it's better that we stick to the public. Although we pay a little higher premium at times, on a longer run, it is always beneficial for us as a family with this kind of illness, also in terms of my son for the future, and hence we decided to stay. So we have thought about this quite a bit, spoken to a lot of doctors as well as the insurance providers, and for us there's no concrete answer. There's maybe there are companies that could take care of everything, and we're also safe, but we're just sticking to the current insurance, the public insurance for us, because it worked out for us.
And now I'm coming back to you. As a woman, how do you feel in Germany? Do you feel safe?
Yeah. Definitely, I've never, say, in the 11 years, maybe I've had very small instances where I have had not so secure feeling about being an international person in Germany, maybe. But then those instances were very, very small and very limited compared to the very wide picture of the good things that I've seen in as a student in Germany or living here for so many years. There are times where we have partied until 3 a.m., just girls, and just being around in the center of the city, and it has been extremely safe, and there was nothing to worry about. So we have waited for trains in public areas, and even my husband at this point, when he was hospitalized for 2+ years, there was a lot of security and help in terms of me waiting in the hospital overnight with a little kid, and also driving in non say not city areas, like small towns or villages, and maybe for fuel or anything like that. I've always found it secure and safe. But yeah, it depends on us as well, that we do not put ourselves into the wrong spots. I've always been cautious about the time I go, also about the situations with whom I hang around with, and if there is a vibe that I don't fit in there, and there's some sort of danger, I also tend to move out of it. But it's very limited in Germany, I would say.
Since you mentioned an international part, I heard recently Germany put some police at the borders, and they talk a lot about the east part and about immigration. Have you noticed something different, how people behave towards you since these events happened?
Um, Not currently. I have received a lot of messages around this, that a lot of checks are being say made across borders, and we need to there's something being done around all of the security related stuff. So it's more of just being happy, but I've not been in any situation like this to be worried about. Back then, I think around 10 years back, when I was living in East Germany with my husband, um, there was a situation where Pegida movement was happening, and we were, as brown people, asked to move out of the train, but nobody really harmed us at the moment. So we were also surprised, and we're like, okay, why? But I think there was more of a safety measure for us, asking us to move out of it and not be involved in it directly. I think the people were trying to get us away from what could be dangerous for us, but apart from that, nothing really.
So it never happened against
No,
Citizenship.
no, no.
And now coming back to your NGO, can you tell me some data about it?
Yeah, so this company is called Never Stop Ever, and my sister is also a doctor. So by background, I'm just giving you some information that she did her basic MBBS degree back in India, and my idea was to bring her here to Germany to live close to me. And as a master student, it was pretty easy for me to find out information on how to come to Germany, what are the things that I need. It was pretty clear, and the university helped a lot. But in terms of doctors, we had little to no idea on how we proceed with this. So this was way back in 2015 or 2016, and I did a lot of research on the visa perspective, talking to different. I knew that it was possible, but I just didn't know how to go ahead doing these kind of things. And we approached certain licensing authorities, and there was a bit of back and forth when it came to visas, the documentation, and so on. And we happened to learn quite a bit in the process when we brought her. And in the following years, we also had a lot of her friends coming here, and some of them even asked us, why don't you do this officially? Why So now that you have gained the knowledge, why don't you spread this information, or why don't you start a company to bring more of us here, because we are still lacking the information. So when it comes to doctors here in Germany, a lot of documents needs to be translated, attested, and each state has, or a licensing body has, different laws and different set of documents required from these doctors or nurses around the process. So what we do is, once the student approaches us, we get in touch with language schools around here, basically for medical specific German training. And here is the NGO part, where we also try to, get them scholarships, get them in touch with organizations which could sponsor qualified doctors here in Germany. We do that, and also get in touch with the licensing authority on list of documents they need, and talk to trained translators. We only charge for the translations and a little bit for our services, but a lot of things that comes into the investment in terms of bringing them here is sponsored, at least in the initial process, not in terms of living expenses, but in terms of their preparation for getting into courses and things like that. Yeah.
If someone from India wants to contact you, how they can do this?
They can visit our website called neverstopever dot com, or they can approach me on Facebook groups, or Instagram. It's called Spoorthy Paul, or we also have a channel called Never Stop Ever. So through that, it would be perfect.
And you also have your own YouTube channel?
I recently started this YouTube channel basically because of my friends who are asking me on my journey here in Germany, in terms of the treatment that my husband received, the help that we received, the funding that goes around it, as well as our lifestyle and living here with a little kid, and also maybe the company. So that's why we started the YouTube channel, and it's in a very initial stage. So I have about 750 subscribers in a month, but yeah, it's more to spread awareness. That's basically our motive going for the future.
Thank you so much. I appreciate all the information you gave me, and I hope it will be useful for the other people as well.